In 2022, we celebrate 130 years of HBCU football. On December 27th, 1892, Livingstone and Biddle College, now known as Johnson C. Smith University, played in Salisbury, North Carolina, with Biddle winning 5-0. Over time, HBCU football has evolved. HBCU football's popularity continues to rise. Millions attend games each year and millions more watch on television. The HBCU bands provide some of the top entertainment in the country. Over that time, some of the best players to ever play in the National Football League played at HBCUs. Every Monday through Friday on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, national radio and television host Donal Ware takes a look at what's happening in HBCU football and talks with coaches, players, administrators, and media about the 2022 season. Make sure you join the conversation on social media by using the hashtag HBCU130. Now, here's your host, Donal Ware.
You've got it locked to the HBCU Football Daily Podcast for today, Monday, August the 15th. I'm Donal Ware. Hope you had a wonderful weekend as we rock and roll with these daily podcasts. And I'll tell you what, we are 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks away from the beginning of the football season. A little less than three. I'll put it like that, a little less than 3 weeks. Season kicks off on August the 27th. And so we're very much looking forward to that. If you're watching this, you can see this gentleman right here. If you're listening to this, this is Gabe Giardina. He's the head football coach at Albany State. As a matter of fact, he's in his sixth season as the head coach. And Albany State coming off winning its first SIAC championship under Coach Giardina. 10-2 season on last year. Gabe Giardina joining us here on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. How are you, Coach?
Well, Donald, I'm doing good. I got barely any voice left. So, we've been coaching some ball around here. So it's an exciting time of the year and glad to be on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you have no voice left, you can interpret that. Things could be going great or not so much. What are your thoughts on how camp is going so far?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of par for the course. We like to have a lot of enthusiasm and excitement out there. And, a lot of the yelling I do is, for big plays and guys doing a great job. So it's exciting to be back on the grass out there underneath the South Georgia oven that we got cranked up and, got 101 Golden Rams trying to get better every single day.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's talk about last season. This is a really good season. You'd been knocking on the door. You've been in that SIAC championship game, going back a couple of years, couldn't quite get over the hump. And I think 0 points. So in last year, your team gave up 0 points in the last two games, perhaps the biggest games of the season when you talk about the game against Fort Valley State in the Fountain City Classic, and then the shutout of Miles in the championship game. Just your thoughts on the 2021 season.
Well, I think we had a really, unique and wonderful group of guys that like you said, we'd had our hearts kind of broken 2 years in a row. And, we were trying to not just get through the door, but kick it in. And, obviously had a special year on defense and, obviously capping it off with those two great performances at the end of the year. And, being the number one defense in all of Division II. In scoring defense and total defense, and just a fun group of guys. And, but excited to see what 22 is going to bring. And we put that one to bed. And it's exciting to just watch our team kind of grow and become a team.
So Dionte Bonneau, your quarterback, he's preseason all-conference guy.
Sure.
Did some really good things for you last year. Speak to what you're expecting from him this season.
Well, I think with him, it's all about leadership. He's got plenty of arm talent. And he's really, really smart. He's a big-time student of the game. He's probably a guy that I'm trying to convince to be on my staff one day. But super intelligent and a great person, high character. And Dionte is just really kind of growing into his leadership role. He's a sophomore on the field last year. He'll be a junior this year, and he's already in grad school, Donald, and he just is kind of everything you want in your quarterback. He's a field general that can make plays, so he doesn't just have to manage the game. He can create things. He's like a Steph Curry out there. He's not afraid of the big moments and can make the big shots and the big throws at the big moments in the game.
How would you assess, the guys up front? But it all begins up front in the trenches with the offensive line and those guys that are going to protect him.
Well, I think we got some question marks there. We're a work in progress. Trying to find the solution at center, and dealing with a couple of injuries right now. So, we every year it's our goal. We got to set out to get 8 guys that can play up front. And we kind of mix and match the combinations. And I probably stress the O-line coach out a lot just because I'm like, hey, let's try him at tackle today. Hey, let's try him at guard. Hey, move him. Let's change him from right to left. But we kind of have to have the an NFL mindset in that way. And we got a lot of guys. We got I think 15, 16 O-linemen out there, but we got to find kind of 8 that can kind of be our the cream that rises to the top and kind of make the bus literally for the travel squad. And it's to be determined. Got a lot of young players. So signed I think 10 O-linemen over the last 2 years. And so I think the future's bright, and we certainly have a healthy amount of competition going.
And then Trey Pringle, he's a preseason all-conference guy for you on the line.
Yeah, I mean, Trey, he's just been consistent. He's been a starter the last 2 years out there at tackle, and he's really smart. Football means a lot to him. His doggone younger brother's like he's a 2024. He's a junior in high school. He's one of the top, I think, 5 O-line recruits in the country. So we're trying to get our hat on the table. Right. But he comes from a football family, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you, and just such a wonderful young man and a pleasure to coach. And he's tough as nails. He ain't the biggest guy in the world now. He's probably only 275 pounds, but he'll strike your butt. And we like him. And man, he does a great job of again leading for us up there.
Gabe Giardina is the head football coach at Albany State in his 6th season as he joins us here on the program. Running back, can you talk sort of about the running back room and who you're expecting to step up for you?
Well, I think we got a lot of expectations out of Cam Ward. He was kind of a freshman for us last year. Was a little hot and cold. Got a little banged up, and freshmen, they just they're freshmen for a reason, right? They become inconsistent, but he really made a lot of big plays. But just kind of played him. I don't know, probably about 30% of the snaps. Just couldn't handle the whole load mentally. Marquise Folks is really just steady back there for us. Is kind of a slasher and plays bigger than he is. And then I think we're trying to find a third back. We got a lot of guys kind of vying for that. We got, probably about 4 or 5 that are good players that know what to do. And, I never feel good until we got 3 that we really feel like can go get it for us.
And then your receivers, I mean, you have Javonte Shorter, who is an all-conference guy. And then also, I mean, I was looking at the young man, Tyree Taylor, who's your tight end, as a first-team all-conference guy.
Yeah, I mean, we try to take the approach, Donald, that we're like the Warriors. We spread it around. We're just trying to get people open, and I think we had 11 different guys catch touchdown passes last year, and I think we got 4 tight ends we feel really good about right now. We got a bunch of receivers. Rashad Jordan, is we can keep him healthy, can as fast as anybody in the conference, including Joe. Joe doesn't get enough credit for his speed. He really can run past you. And then Ralph Lovett was banged up a lot last year, but still had a couple touchdowns, and I thought was really about to explode on us and broke his forearm and, sat out, came back, caught a touchdown against doggone Fort Valley. I mean, Ralph has probably been our most consistent performer. So, I just, it's hey, the great thing about having a quarterback that can read the whole field is, hey, just get it to the open guy. Tyree just happened to have the numbers last year, and he's a great kid. But Christian Grant and Oliver Davis, those guys played just as much as Tyree last year. And, the ball just didn't find him as much. But shoot, one of those guys could burst on the scene and, catch 4-5 touchdown passes too. So it's a really fun group to coach. I like playing a lot of guys because we can keep them fresh. And I'm just telling you, it's sweltering down here. And so when you're playing a game in the South Georgia sun and you can play 6 or 8 receivers and 4 tight ends, eventually you're going to wear somebody down. And that's when we like to finish people off in the fourth quarter.
Gabe Giardina is the head football coach at Albany State, joins us here on the program. I don't know if I've ever seen where a team has shut out 6 opponents in a season, and that's exactly what you did. And I mentioned the last 2 games. Savannah State's a big-time football game, too. They probably had some bragging rights going back to 2019. You guys shut them out as well, giving up well less than 10 points per game per season. How good can the defense be in 2022?
Well, I think it's funny. You kind of you think about all the accolades from last year's team, and I just keep telling the guys, hey, look, we're not last year's team. Last year is over. Let's not try to live up to giving up 6.3 points a game. And, our players would tell you, Donald, that it was actually 7 shutouts because, Benedict scored against us, but they scored on defense. They ran a pick 6 back on us. So, they're crushing me on that all the time, which is great. But I think we're just all about trying to get off the field, and play physical football and play with relentless effort. And we got a lot of guys back over there, we know that. But the way the season ended, going out in the playoffs and not really playing very well and really playing nervous football. I've never seen our team play nervous football. I'm in there before the game and you got this planned out pregame speech, and we look so tight in there that, I just started telling jokes. I say, y'all gonna relax in here or what? We ain't gonna, die if we lose here. Let's just go play football. I guess my point is we have a lot of edge still. I think a lot of margin to get better. One of the areas that we weren't great in was creating turnovers. We only created, I think, like 16 turnovers last year. So, hey, we're trying to get that thing to 2 a game. We want to get over 20. And, we know we sacked the quarterback a lot last year. I think we had like 39 sacks. But, that's something we emphasize. You talk about sacks. If we can get, 30 sacks in a season, that should be 10 wins. And, we got a lot of guys that, we try to play over there and throw a lot of different packages at people. But I guess that's a long answer to just say, hey, we're trying to be a new defense. We got new defense. I got a whole new defensive staff. All those guys are gone. New defensive coordinator, new secondary coach, new D-line coach, new interns. Shoot, my doggone interns hit the lottery on me too. So, proud of all those guys. But hey, you got to write a new story when you got so many new people.
Yeah, but you got a couple of holdovers, including a Malik Barnes and your defensive lineman, and Stephen Pierre, your linebacker. That's good to have some holdovers, at least personnel-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. We should have 8 or 9 starters coming back on defense. We lose 2 guys that are really, heart and soul guys of the team, but Pierre and Malik Barnes and Antonio Leroy coming back off injury. He only played half the season, and then Brandarius Rawlings, number 9. Those guys are all kind of our core 4, leaders. And we think Josh Hill, one of our other ends, can really explode this year. Had a really good freshman season, and so it's just, I don't know. We got a special group. They love each other. They love to play hard, and practice is just. Practice is awful, you know what I'm saying? Because those guys are so they just run around and fly to the ball, and it's a reason that most of it's not live.
Last thought, we appreciate the time with Gabe Giardina, the head football coach at Albany State. So you open up the season at home against Mississippi College, but then your next 3 games are on the road, including the week after, against Florida A&M. Just kind of talk about the schedule and having to play on that road 3 straight weeks, but having to, to do well to then really get into conference play.
Yeah, it's unique. But if you look at those road games, a lot of them are close. I mean, we go down to Tallahassee week 2, and I mean that's a hour and 20-minute drive for us, and then we're going to go play Clark, I think week 4, and play the game at night and just drive up there. It's about 2 hours 45 minutes. So, we're still going to sleep in our own beds and kind of stay with our own routine. But we I like to schedule those Gulf South teams early, with Mississippi College and Shorter, because they're just good programs, good league, and helps our strength of schedule, obviously. And then obviously what Coach Simmons is doing, at FAMU is just tremendous. I mean, with the LeBron brand stuff, and I know Jackson State gets a lot of maybe a little bit more press, but I think I see FAMU as just right up there as far as what they're doing nationally in recruiting and getting to spend time with Coach Simmons at the Legacy Bowl last year, basically being on the same staff. Just what a great guy, character, and got to go down and speak to their alumni group. I don't know if it was a safe environment. I had to bring some rattler repellent, and I said, we don't want to get snake bitten, and they said, "Hey, we don't bite, we strike." So I got my history lesson there, but certainly excited about just playing Mississippi College week 1. That's what we're totally focused on, and I think our guys are excited. Just glad to play at home. We drove over to Mississippi 2 years in a row. That's a long drive on a 7-hour bus ride, and actually had the doggone AC kick out on the defensive bus last year. So, nothing like a little D2, minor league baseball type, road trip where you're just juggling, moving, and shaking. Just what you do at this level. So, but you gotta love it.
Well, no doubt, you guys got it done last year, 10-2 season. Of course, the Golden Rams going to open the season at home Saturday, September 3rd against Mississippi College. In his 6th season as the head football coach of Albany State is Gabe Giardina, joins us here on the program. Coach Giardina, appreciate the time. Good luck to you and the Golden Rams this season.
Donald, we just want to say thanks for having us on the program, and anytime we can talk Golden Ram football, I'm up for it.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast at BOXTOROW.com, iHeartMedia, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to get your HBCU football fix on BOXTOROW with Donal Ware each weekend on the radio station near you, and on SiriusXM on HBCU, Channel 142, and on ESPNU Radio on SiriusXM, Channel 84. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BOXTOROW for the latest in HBCU football, and don't forget to tell a friend.